Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking myself out of buying the new Natasha Denona Pastel Palette. So this is Natasha Denona's newest launch, and if you know me, you know that I am a sucker for pastel eyeshadows. For some reason, whenever I see new pastel palettes launched, I automatically think that somehow these are like brand new colors that have never been done before, and they always look more unique to me than I think they really are. And if there's one thing I learned in 2021, it is that I really don't need to have more than a couple of pastel palettes in my collection, because I do love pastels, but I don't wear them that often. So I really don't need to be collecting like tons and tons of pastel palettes. I feel like I already have a lot of those really good staple pastels, both shimmers and mattes, within my collection, and I just don't want to buy any more pastel palettes. So today, the purpose of today's video is to just convince myself that I don't need this palette. I already know I can probably dupe the majority of these shades with my existing collection, especially between my BH Cosmetics Lost in Los Angeles palette. I know a lot of people have this one, and the CRUELTY Cosmetics So Amazing palette. Between both of these, I have a pretty comprehensive collection of pastels just right here, and I do have some other palettes that contain pastels as well. So today we're going to go shade by shade through the Natasha Denona palette and try to see if I can find close color matches with my own collection. I am pretty sure I will be able to pretty closely dupe a lot of these, maybe not every single one, but I'm not trying to find exact dupes of these shades necessarily, really just trying to get inspired by my own collection, these products that I've already spent my money on, that I have lots and lots of love to give. I don't want to just go out and buy the latest and greatest thing. So we're going to switch to like an overhead style of filming and have a little swatch party. Just have some fun, get inspired to use these pastels. This look that I'm wearing today, I actually used my e.l.f. Earth and Ocean palette, and I did film an Instagram reel with it that should be up soon. But yeah, got some pastel vibes going on my eyes today. Yeah, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My channel is really all about influencing you to use what you have. Of course, I love buying new makeup and reviewing new makeup too, but I really try to focus mostly on using and enjoying what I already have. So if that sounds like fun to you, I'd love to have you subscribe. I upload usually 4 videos a week. Oh, also, quick announcement. I did change my upload schedule. I'm gonna be uploading Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and bonus videos on Sunday. So a little bit different from my previous schedule, which was Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, bonus videos on Sunday. I'm trying to kind of spread it out a little bit differently so that I can hopefully manage my time a little bit better. So anyway, if you follow my upload schedule, just know that's when new videos are going to be coming out. So let's go ahead and play with my pastel shadows and talk myself out of this new Natasha Denona palette. Alright, so these are the 3 palettes that I pulled out. The main 2 are the CRUELTY Cosmetics So Amazing palette and the BH Cosmetics Lost in Los Angeles palette. These are both kind of my main pastel palettes, and then I also have some pastel singles. These are mostly from ColourPop. So I'm looking at the swatches that they have on Sephora, and I'm gonna go from top to bottom here. And like I said, I'm not necessarily trying to exactly dupe every single shade. I'm more so just trying to find similar shades in my collection that give a similar effect, a similar vibe. I'm actually not sure if I'm going to pull into these singles yet, so I'm going to move these aside for now. So that first shade looks like a light lilac-y pink shade. That really reminds me of this one right here from the Lost in LA palette, 90210. There's that one. And I'm just going to kind of start my own swatches here. That is so pretty, and these BH pastels are so smooth and pigmented too. A lot of times I feel like pastels can turn out very dry and chalky, but not these. They are a beautiful formula. So that next shade is kind of like a lime green, and I do actually have a color like that in my collection in my Estate Resort palette, and this is the only shade like that I think that I own, like a neon lime green kind of shade. I don't really wear that kind of shade very often, but I will go ahead and swatch this one. So that looks like not as pigmented as it could be, definitely not as nice a formula as like the BH matte pastels. So there's that. If I ever did want to combine that with any of these other shades from either of these palettes, I could easily pull that in. Alright, the next shade in the Natasha Denona palette looks like kind of like this one here, LAX from the Lost in Los Angeles palette. I definitely have other blues in my collection, but there's that. And the nice thing about this Lost in Los Angeles palette is that it has a matte white in it, which is really nice. If you wanted to make any of these colors even more pastel, you could just mix it with that matte white. So actually, why don't I do that right now? Just kind of mix these two together. Of course, then it's going to end up getting colors in it, but oh well. Yeah, so that made that a little bit lighter, more pastel. The next color is called Duet, and it looks like kind of a duochrome purpley blue shade, and what that actually reminds me of is my ColourPop Earthshine shade, I think is what it's called. That is one of the ones here in this palette, and that's this shade right here. This is, yeah, Earthshine. This actually is also one of the shades in the It's My Pleasure palette, which I don't have, but that does look pretty similar. That is a really pretty kind of blurple duochrome. There's that. Ooh, pretty. Wow, that's a cute little quad right there. The next shade is called Limoncello, and it looks like a very, very pale shimmery yellow, at least in the pan. The swatch, it looks even lighter, but the shimmery pale yellow that I have that I really like is this one from the Clarity So Amazing palette. This is called Don't Be Shellfish. But I would be willing to bet that these Clarity shimmers are at least as pretty as the ones in the Natasha Denona palette. I mean, these are some of my favorite shimmers in my whole collection. Look at how, I don't even know if the camera's going to do it justice, but that is such a pretty, shifty, light yellow shade. It's got some kind of green to it, a little bit of a pink flip as well. Yeah, just a gorgeous shade. The next shade is called Bubble, and this looks like almost like a medium denim blue. I don't have a matte, I can't tell if this shade is matte or shimmery. It actually looks like kind of a satin shade. To me, that looks kind of similar to this one here called City of Angels from the BH Lost in LA palette. Yeah, oh, this actually has a little bit of a purpley flip to it as well. The next shade is a gorgeous pastel peach called Bellini, and that looks like Long Time No See from the Clarity palette. This is a shade that, because it's so like almost just close to my skin tone, it does work best over like a white base, like the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk. Okay, you know, this color story is growing on me. I think it's maybe more the layout of the Natasha Denona palette that I don't love. So the next shade is called Starlet, and this is an interesting one. It looks like kind of a, it's definitely not a pastel shadow. It kind of has like a, it looks like it has a reddish base and kind of like a corally peach shift. I don't know if I have anything quite like that, but it does kind of remind me of this one here from ColourPop. This is the shade Thank You Next. This is a really pretty color. I don't love the formula of this particular shadow because it is very flaky and chunky, but I can't deny that it is a very pretty color. So there's that shade. That actually looks surprisingly similar to the shade in the pastel palette. So yeah, when I initially saw that shade, I didn't think I would have anything like it, but I totally do. The next shade is called Adriatic, kind of like a medium aqua blue-green shade. Kind of reminds me of this one here called Beach Please. This shade here is a gorgeous kind of like seafoam green color. It does have kind of a pinky flip, but honestly I feel like that makes it more interesting anyway. Yeah, there's that. So that definitely has a like more sheer base, at least compared to these swatch photos. But I think like layered over a white base or even layered over maybe this shade would make a really pretty kind of like medium seafoam green. The next shade is called Brisk, and this is kind of like a minty blue color. This is a gorgeous minty blue from the So Amazing palette. You Mermaid My Day is what it's called. Yeah, there's that. I think I like that shade even better. It's got this kind of like dusty blue sort of quality to it. It's just something a little bit different. But then I also have this shade called I'll Have a Martini that is a little bit more green. I'll just kind of swatch it right next to that. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty too. This is making me so excited to use this So Amazing palette. Alright, the next shade is kind of like a light shimmery purple kind of color called Dainty. That actually reminds me of this shade in Lost in Los Angeles, The Hills. Kind of like a light metallic shimmer that does have kind of a lilac sort of undertone to it. And honestly, these shades on Sephora's site look a lot more saturated than ones I've seen, like, actual people swatch. Like, I saw swatches from Jenna Fraze, and all of these shades looked much lighter, more sheer on her, so this actually looked pretty similar to her swatch of that shade, I think. Then we have the shade Bora, which is honestly kind of like a reddish purple. I definitely have shades like that in my collection, but again, I didn't want to like reach into too many palettes for this. But this matte purple in Lost in LA is a really pretty shade, kind of like an orchid sort of color. There's that. All right, the next shade down is the shade Mint Frost. It's a little bit deeper than that other kind of turquoise shimmer. I don't know how similar this will be, but this is a really pretty shade called Call Me on My Shell Phone from the Clarity So Amazing palette. Ooh, I'm running out of room here. So let's go ahead and swatch that. Oh, I love that so much. And again, I really do think these Clarity shimmers are have to be at least as pretty as the Natasha Denona ones. I mean, just look how duochrome that is. I love that kind of golden yellow flip that it has to it. All right, getting down to the end, this next to last one doesn't look that exciting to me, honestly. It just looks like a light shimmery pink. Again, probably kind of similar to the Hills from Lost in Los Angeles, but I'm gonna go ahead and swatch I Washed Up Like This. This is another really pretty like shimmery pink from the Clarity palette that I'm so excited to reach for. This is like a, it's pink and then it kind of shifts to like a yellowy gold. So pretty. I don't have any other shades in my collection like that one. And then the final shade is kind of, it looks like a satin finish. It's hard to tell. Maybe a satin matte light pink called Tulle. Again, I feel like I probably have a bunch of shades like that in my collection. But this shade here I haven't swatched yet. This is called See Ya Later from So Amazing. I'll go ahead and, that's a little bit more like bubblegummy pink, I think, than that other one, but I think it certainly satisfies the pink pastel description. All right, so that is kind of the dupe selection that I have. I put that in air quotes because, again, I haven't even tried the Natasha Denona palettes. There's no way I can actually dupe it, but it's definitely made me feel inspired to reach into my own pastel collection. I feel like I was able to find a pretty close shade to all of the shades in the Natasha Denona palette, and honestly, I'm more excited by some of these shimmers than the ones in that palette. So this definitely helps with the slight FOMO that I was feeling over this new pastel palette, which I'm sure is beautiful, but I also have so many beautiful shades in my own collection here. So I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video. Let me know if you liked it and I can do more like this in the future. I hope it also inspired you to just play around and have fun with your own collection, maybe have your own little swatch party like this. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, support the Patreon if you would like, and otherwise hopefully I will talk to you again very soon in my next video. Bye.